I should have trusted my instincts the moment Amanda handed me that cup of hot chocolate. She smiled too sweetly, that practiced smile I'd seen her use on teachers and boyfriends since high school. The steam rising from the mug carried a bitter, chemical smell beneath the chocolate. Something ancient and primal in me screamed danger. When Amanda turned to grab the cream, I quietly switched my cup with her husband Derek's. He was scrolling through his phone, barely noticing. 50 minutes later, Derek collapsed in the kitchen, convulsing on the floor. The screams that followed still haunt my dreams. The Sunday morning had started so normally. I'd driven to Amanda and Derek's house in the suburbs, bringing fresh bagels from the bakery Amanda loved as a child. The October air was crisp, leaves turning gold and red on the maple trees lining their street. Their home was one of those new constructions, all clean lines and big windows, the kind young professionals buy when they're building their futures together. Amanda met me at the door wearing yoga pants and an oversized sweater, her blonde hair pulled back in a messy bun. She looked tired, I remember thinking. Dark circles under her blue eyes that makeup couldn't quite hide. "Mom, you didn't have to bring anything," she said, kissing my cheek. But her hug felt stiff, mechanical. Derek was at the kitchen island, laptop open, barely glancing up when I entered. "Hey, Letitia, how are you?" "Good, sweetheart." "Working on a Sunday?" He nodded absently. "Big presentation Tuesday. Just reviewing numbers." Amanda busied herself at the stove. "I'm making us hot chocolate, Mom. The good kind, with real cocoa and cinnamon. Remember how we used to make it together when I was little?" I did remember. Cold winter mornings, the two of us in our old kitchen, stirring the pot together while snow fell outside, before her father left, before everything changed. But this felt different, wrong somehow. She poured 3 mugs, brought them to the island. Mine had extra whipped cream, just how I liked it. But when she set it in front of me, that smell hit me. Under the chocolate and cinnamon, something acrid and wrong, like cleaning products or old medicine. "Smells wonderful," I lied, watching her face. She smiled again, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Drink up while it's hot." I lifted the mug, pretending to blow on it. Derek was still absorbed in his screen. Amanda turned to get the cream from the refrigerator. In that moment, moving purely on instinct, I switched my mug with Derek's. We made small talk. I nibbled a bagel. Derek finally closed his laptop and drank his hot chocolate in 3 long gulps, complaining he'd burned his tongue. Amanda watched him, then looked at my still full mug. "You're not drinking yours, Mom." "Too hot still," I said. "I'll let it cool." 40 minutes passed. We moved to the living room. Derek started looking pale. He loosened his collar. "You okay, babe?" Amanda asked. "Just feel weird. Hot. Dizzy." Then he stood up fast, stumbled. "I think I need to." He made it 3 steps toward the bathroom before he went down. His body hit the hardwood floor with a terrible sound. Then the convulsions started. His back arched. Foam appeared at the corners of his mouth. His eyes rolled back, showing only whites. Amanda screamed. But I was already moving, grabbing my phone, dialing 911. "My son-in-law is having a seizure. We need an ambulance right now." I gave the address, tried to remember first aid training from decades ago. "Keep him safe. Don't restrain him. Turn him on his side." But when I looked up at Amanda, my blood went cold. She wasn't looking at Derek with horror or concern. She was staring at me with something that looked like rage mixed with fear. The paramedics arrived within 6 minutes. They worked efficiently, checking vitals, asking questions. Derek had stopped convulsing but wasn't conscious. They loaded him onto a stretcher. "What did he ingest?" the lead paramedic asked. "I don't know," I started to say. "Hot chocolate," Amanda interrupted, her voice breaking. "My mother made hot chocolate. She brought it from home in a thermos." I froze. "What?" "No, Amanda. You made it. I watched you." But she was crying now. A perfect performance. "Mom, no. You brought the thermos when you arrived. You said you'd made it special, remember? Derek and I just drank what you poured." The paramedics exchanged glances. One of them picked up my untouched mug with a gloved hand, sealed it in an evidence bag. "We're taking him to County General," the lead paramedic said. "You should both come." In my car following the ambulance, my hands shook on the steering wheel. Amanda was lying. But why? What was happening? At the hospital, they rushed Derek into the emergency room. A doctor came out 20 minutes later, grim-faced. "We're pumping his stomach. Running full toxicology. He's been poisoned with something, but we won't know what until the labs come back. Is he allergic to anything? Any medications? Any reason someone would want to harm him?" "No," I said. "He's healthy. This doesn't make sense." A man in his late 20s rushed through the entrance. Tall, athletic build, Derek's same dark hair. Travis, Derek's younger brother. "Where is he?" Amanda called me. "What happened?" Amanda ran to him, collapsed against his chest. "It's so awful, Travis. I don't understand. We were just having brunch and then Derek just collapsed." Travis held her, his face hard as he looked at me over her head. "How did this happen, Letitia?" Amanda pulled back, wiping tears. "I don't want to believe it, but Mom brought this hot chocolate. She was insisting Derek drink it, and then he—" "That's not true," I said, but my voice sounded weak, even to me. "Amanda, why are you doing this?" "Mom's been acting strange lately," Amanda continued, not meeting my eyes, forgetting things, making odd comments about Derek. I thought she was just stressed, but now, Travis's expression shifted from concern to suspicion. "Are you saying Letitia did something to Derek?" "I don't know what to think." Amanda's voice broke beautifully. "She's my mother. But the evidence—" A police officer appeared, a woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and graying hair pulled back tight. "Detective Brennan," her badge said. "I'm going to need statements from everyone who was present when the victim collapsed," she said. "Let's start with you, Mrs. Letitia Winters. I'm Amanda's mother." We sat in a small consultation room. Detective Brennan took notes while I explained what happened. But my story sounded defensive even to my own ears. And when Amanda gave her version, crying and confused, painting a picture of a mother who'd been forgetting things, acting paranoid, making strange comments about Derek taking advantage of Amanda, I could see the detective's expression change. "Mrs. Winters, I'm going to need you to come to the station tomorrow morning for a formal statement. 9 o'clock. Don't leave town." After she left, I sat alone in the waiting room. Travis stayed close to Amanda, shooting me dark looks. The hospital felt too bright, too cold. My daughter had just tried to frame me for attempted murder of her own husband. Nothing made sense. I walked to my car in the parking garage on shaky legs, opened the back door to grab my purse, and there, on the back seat, was a silver thermos I'd never seen before. I picked it up with trembling hands, unscrewed the lid. The same bitter chemical smell from the hot chocolate. Amanda had planted it. This was all planned. She'd set me up. But why? My phone buzzed. Unknown number. A text message. "I know what Amanda did. Meet me at Riverside Diner, midnight. Come alone or I go to the police with the wrong story." I sat in my car, staring at that message, my whole world tilting sideways. My daughter had tried to poison her husband and frame me for it. And now someone else knew about it and was threatening me. The October afternoon had turned cold. I started the car, cranked the heat, but couldn't stop shivering. The Riverside Diner squatted on the edge of town, one of those 24-hour places with cracked vinyl booths and fluorescent lights that hummed. I arrived at 11:50, parked under a broken streetlight, every nerve on fire. The place was nearly empty, just a tired-looking waitress refilling salt shakers and a trucker nursing coffee at the counter. I slid into a back booth, ordered tea I wouldn't drink, waited. At midnight exactly, a woman walked in, mid-30s, dark hair in a ponytail, wearing jeans and a leather jacket. She had the wary look of someone expecting trouble. She spotted me, walked over, slid into the booth across from me. "You're Leticia. Who are you?" "Claire Mitchell." Amanda and I were roommates in college, junior and senior year. The name meant nothing to me. Amanda had never mentioned a Claire. Why did you text me? Claire pulled out her phone, swiped through photos. I've been watching Amanda for 3 months now. Look. The first photo showed Amanda sitting in a coffee shop across from a man I didn't recognize. Lean build, maybe 40, wearing an expensive suit. They were leaning close, intense conversation. The next photo caught them outside the coffee shop, the man handing Amanda a thick envelope. Amanda looking around nervously before taking it. Who is he? His name is Kyle Brennan. Convicted con artist. Served 6 years in Stateville for insurance fraud. Got out 8 months ago. My stomach dropped. Brennan. Like the detective? Her cousin. Officer Brennan helps him. Looks the other way. Buries evidence. Feeds him information. Family business. Claire swiped to more photos. Amanda and Kyle meeting in parking lots, outside a law office, at a fancy restaurant. Always looking around, always careful. Amanda and Kyle dated in college, Claire continued. Before she met Derek, she was obsessed with him. When he went to prison, she was devastated. Visited him for the first 2 years. Then she met Derek at some tech conference, saw an opportunity, and stopped visiting Kyle. An opportunity for what? Derek's startup just got major funding, $12 million. He took out a $2 million life insurance policy last month. Amanda's the beneficiary. The waitress came by, refilled water glasses. We waited until she left. You think they're trying to kill Derek for the insurance money, I said slowly. I know they are. That wasn't the first attempt. 2 weeks ago, Derek's brakes failed. He crashed but walked away with bruises. The mechanic said the brake lines looked tampered with. Derek thought it was just bad maintenance. Why are you telling me this? Why not go to the police? Claire's face hardened. Because Officer Brennan is dirty. She'll bury it. And because. She hesitated. Amanda and I were close once. Best friends. Then Kyle came along and everything changed. She became someone I didn't recognize. When Kyle went to prison, I thought maybe she'd snap out of it. But she didn't. She just got better at hiding who she really was. Why frame me, though? Why not just kill Derek and collect the insurance? I couldn't figure that out either. Until I did some digging into Derek's father's will. She pulled out printed documents, spread them on the table. Legal papers, a trust agreement. Derek's father died 2 years ago. Left Derek a trust fund worth about $3 million, separate from his other assets. But there's a catch. If Derek dies, and Amanda is convicted of any crime related to his death, the money goes to you as trustee. It was the old man's way of protecting his son. He never liked Amanda, apparently. I scanned the documents, my lawyer's training from years ago kicking in. She was right. If Derek died and Amanda was implicated, I inherited as trustee for any future grandchildren. But if I'm convicted of Derek's murder, Amanda inherits everything as the grieving widow. She gets the insurance money, the trust fund, the house, Derek's share of the startup, everything. And you spend the rest of your life in prison. She's my daughter. The words came out broken. How could she do this? Claire's expression softened slightly. The Amanda I knew in college was kind, funny, genuine. Then Kyle got into her head. He has this way of twisting people, making them believe they deserve more, that the world owes them. By the time I realized how toxic he was, Amanda was already too far gone. We have to go to the police. The real police, not Brennan. With what evidence? These photos don't prove anything. Amanda and Kyle can say they're old friends catching up. The thermos in your car has your fingerprints on it now. Amanda's statement to Brennan will be on record. You look guilty, Letitia. That's the whole point. Then what do I do? She pulled a USB drive from her jacket pocket, set it on the table between us. Everything I have is on here. Photos, documents, recordings of Amanda and Kyle talking at a coffee shop I managed to bug. Bank records showing cash deposits to Officer Brennan's account, Derek's life insurance policy, the trust fund documents. It's not enough to convict them yet, but it's a start. You need to figure out what they're planning next and stop them before. Her phone rang. She looked at the screen and went pale. We need to leave. Right now. What? Why? They know I'm here. I don't know how, but they know. Through the diner's front windows, I saw a black SUV pull into the parking lot. Dark tinted windows. It parked across 3 spaces, blocking several cars in. Claire shoved the USB drive into my hand. Everything's on here. Don't trust the police. Don't trust anyone. If something happens to me, take this to the FBI field office downtown. Ask for Agent Rodriguez. Tell him Claire sent you. He'll know what to do. Claire, what's happening? 2 men in dark suits got out of the SUV. Big men, moving with purpose toward the diner entrance. Back exit, through the kitchen. Go now. I can't just leave you. They want the evidence, not you. Not yet. I'll stall them. Run, Letitia. Run and don't stop. The bell above the door chimed as the men entered. The waitress looked up, startled by something in their faces. The trucker at the counter suddenly became very interested in his coffee. I ran. Through the swinging kitchen doors, past a startled cook flipping burgers, out the back exit into an alley reeking of old grease and garbage. My car was in the front lot. I'd have to circle around. Behind me, I heard shouting, Claire's voice, loud and defiant, then a crash, like dishes breaking. I made it to the side street, ran along the building's edge. My 68-year-old knees protested. My lungs burned. I wasn't built for this anymore. But terror pushed me forward. My car, 20 feet away. I fumbled for keys, hands shaking so badly I dropped them, bent to pick them up. Behind me, the diner's front door crashed open, the 2 men looking around. One of them pointed at me. I got the door open, threw myself inside, started the engine. The SUV's headlights blazed to life. They were coming. I pulled out fast, too fast, nearly clipped a parked car. The SUV lurched after me. I'd never been a skilled driver. My ex-husband always said I drove like a nervous teenager. But now, with that SUV filling my rearview mirror, I pushed the accelerator down and prayed. Residential streets, stop signs I rolled through, turns I took without signaling. The SUV stayed close, through a red light at an empty intersection, down a street I didn't recognize, past darkened houses, parked cars, the suburban night silent and indifferent to my terror. A 24-hour grocery store appeared ahead, parking lot half full even at this hour. I pulled in fast, drove to the back where the employee cars clustered, wedged my sedan between a pickup truck and a minivan, killed the lights, slid down in my seat, heart hammering so hard I thought I might die right there. The SUV cruised slowly through the parking lot. Once, twice. I held my breath, the USB drive clutched in my fist like a talisman. After an eternity, the SUV left. I stayed in that parking lot for 2 hours, shaking, crying quietly, trying to understand how my life had become this nightmare. My daughter, my baby girl, the child I'd raised, loved, sacrificed everything for. She wanted me dead or in prison. Finally, as dawn approached gray and cold, I drove home. But I parked 3 blocks away and walked, constantly checking over my shoulder. Every shadow could hide danger. Every car could be them. My house looked wrong even from the outside. The front door sat slightly ajar. Someone had been here. Was maybe still here. I stood on the sidewalk, frozen with indecision. Call the police? But Officer Brennan was part of this. Go inside? Whoever had ransacked my home might still be there. Drive away? But where? A light came on in Mrs. Chen's house next door. My elderly neighbor, up early as always. If something happened to me, at least there'd be a witness nearby. I approached my front door slowly, pushed it open with my foot. The living room looked like a tornado had hit. Couch cushions slashed open, stuffing everywhere. Books swept from shelves. Picture frames smashed. They'd been looking for something. The USB drive. I heard a sound upstairs. A footstep. Someone was still here. I backed away slowly, quietly. Reached my car without breaking into a run. Drove straight to Martha's house across town. Martha had been my best friend for 30 years. We'd met at a neighborhood book club, bonded over bad wine and good conversation, supported each other through divorces, job losses, health scares. If I could trust anyone, it was Martha. She answered the door in her bathrobe, took one look at my face, and pulled me inside. What happened? Over coffee at her kitchen table, I told her everything. The hot chocolate, Derek in the hospital, Amanda's accusations, the planted thermos, Claire and the diner, the chase, my ransacked house. I showed her the USB drive. Martha, practical as always, got her laptop. Let's see what's on this thing. The files were organized in folders, photos, documents, recordings, bank records. We started with the photos. Amanda and Kyle at various locations, timestamps over several months. More damning were the photos of Officer Brennan. Meeting Kyle at a park, accepting a thick envelope. Sitting in her personal car outside Kyle's apartment building, laughing over drinks at a bar that looked expensive. The documents folder held copies of Derek's life insurance policy, taken out just 3 weeks ago for $2 million. Amanda was the sole beneficiary. The trust fund documents Claire had shown me, and more. Incorporation papers for a shell company in Delaware. Bank accounts in the Cayman Islands. A pattern of money movement that suggested something much bigger than just killing Derek. This is organized, Martha said. Professional. Whatever Kyle's doing, it's not his first time. We opened the recordings folder. Audio files, dated and time-stamped. I clicked the first one. Amanda's voice came through the laptop speakers, tinny but clear. I don't know if I can do this, Kyle. He's my husband. And my mother. Kyle's voice, smooth and persuasive. Baby, we've been through this. Derek's worth more dead than alive, and your mother's already old. She'll die in prison, sure, but what's that? 10 years, maybe? 15? She had her life. Now it's our turn. But she's my mom, who never understood you, who always criticized everything you did, who drove your father away with her controlling behavior. She deserves this, Amanda, and we deserve the life that money will buy us. What if something goes wrong? Nothing will go wrong. I've done this before. 3 times. Perfect track record. Martha and I looked at each other. He's done this before, I whispered. We kept listening. More recordings. Amanda and Kyle planning Derek's murder in detail. Discussing the poison, something called thallium acetate, hard to detect, causes symptoms that could look like a dozen different things. Practicing Amanda's grieving widow performance. Deciding to frame me specifically because of the trust fund clause, and then the revelation that made my blood run cold. There were other names, other targets. This wasn't just about Derek. Kyle ran an operation. He identified wealthy men, usually in tech or finance, found women to seduce them, marry them, gain their trust. Then they'd kill the men, collect life insurance, and disappear. The women got a cut, Kyle got the rest. Officer Brennan helped cover it up, made sure investigations went nowhere. There were 5 current targets across 3 states. Derek was just one. This is massive, Martha said. This is organized crime. We need to go to the FBI. Right now. I looked at the clock. 5 in the morning. As soon as they open, we go downtown. We bring everything. We spent the next 3 hours going through every file, taking notes, building a timeline. By 8 o'clock, we had a complete picture. Kyle's operation had been running for 7 years, 4 successful hits in different states. Derek was supposed to be the 5th. The women involved were all similar to Amanda. Young, attractive, ambitious, easily manipulated by Kyle's promises of wealth and freedom. Martha made breakfast neither of us could eat. At 8:30, my phone rang. Amanda. I almost didn't answer, but Martha nodded. Put it on speaker. Record it. Mom? Amanda's voice was tear-soaked, trembling. Oh, Mom. Derek woke up. He's asking for you. Please come to the hospital. I'm so sorry for saying those things earlier. I was just in shock. I didn't mean it. Please, Mom. He needs to tell you something important. Every instinct screamed trap. But Martha saw my face, the desperate hope that maybe, somehow, Amanda was truly sorry. Don't, Martha said. It's obviously a trap. But what if Derek really is awake? What if he can tell them what happened? Then the hospital will call you directly. Amanda's lying, Letitia. But I was already grabbing my jacket. Some stupid, stubborn part of me needed to hear Amanda say it, needed to look in her eyes and know for certain my daughter wanted me dead. I'm coming with you, Martha said. We arrived at County General just before 9. The morning shift was changing, doctors and nurses moving through hallways with coffee and tired faces. We found Derek's room on the 4th floor. The hallway was quiet, only one nurse at the station, barely glancing up as we passed. Derek's room was dark. The bed was empty, sheets rumpled but no patient. Where is he? I turned to leave, but the door clicked shut behind us. Locked. The lights went out. Not just in the room, but the entire hallway. Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in red. Amanda stepped out of the bathroom, no longer crying, her face cold and empty. Kyle emerged from behind the door, holding a syringe. In the red light, they looked demonic. Thank you for coming, Letitia, Kyle said. And thank you for bringing the USB drive. You're still carrying it, I assume? Martha made a small sound of fear. I moved in front of her instinctively, mother protecting child, even though Martha wasn't my child. My actual child stood across from us with dead eyes. Amanda, what are you doing? Kyle laughed. Oh, this is precious. You still think you can appeal to her conscience? Letitia, let me save you the disappointment. Amanda doesn't have one anymore. Do you, baby? Amanda crossed her arms. Just search her, and let's get this over with. Kyle moved toward me. I backed up against the door. Martha pressed behind me. Don't touch me. The USB drive. Now, or this gets messy. How did you even know I had it? Claire called us, Amanda said flatly. Right after she met you. She's been working with us from the start. The betrayal hit like a physical blow. Claire, the concerned former friend, the whistleblower with evidence. All a lie, all a setup. She played you perfectly, didn't she? Kyle said. The sympathetic ex-friend, the convenient evidence, drawing you out, getting you to trust her. Now give me the drive before someone gets hurt. I pulled the USB drive from my pocket, held it up. You mean this? The one with all your recordings on it? The photos of you and Officer Brennan? The evidence of your other murders? Alleged murders, Kyle corrected. And that evidence is about to disappear. Along with you and your friend here. He advanced. I threw the USB drive across the room. It skittered under Derek's bed. Kyle swore, went after it. Amanda, please. I tried one more time. I'm your mother. I love you. We can fix this. Whatever he's promised you, it's not worth it. For just a moment, something flickered in her eyes. Doubt? Regret? But then Kyle straightened up, USB drive in hand, and Amanda's face went cold again. You were never a real mother, she said. You were a warden. Every choice I made, you criticized. Every boyfriend, not good enough. Every dream I had, you crushed it with your practical advice and disappointed looks. When Dad left, you blamed him, but it was you. You drove him away with your controlling, suffocating love. Well, I'm done being suffocated. I was trying to protect you. You were trying to control me. There's a difference. Kyle pulled out 2 more syringes from his jacket. Enough bonding time. Here's what happens next. Martha gets potassium chloride. Fast. Mimics a heart attack. Perfect for a woman her age. You get the same cocktail Derek got, but a stronger dose. Fatal. Then we stage a murder-suicide. Letitia, consumed with guilt over poisoning Derek, killed her friend, and then herself. Tragic, but tidy. You'll never get away with this, Martha said, voice shaking but fierce. People know we're here. Do they? You drove Letitia's car. You parked in visitor parking. No one saw you come up. And with the power out on this floor, security cameras are down for the next 20 minutes. My cousin's work. She's quite talented at her job. Derek will tell them everything when he wakes up. Kyle smiled. Derek's not waking up. He flatlined an hour ago. Complications from the poisoning. So unfortunate. I felt my knees go weak. Derek was dead. They'd actually killed him. No, Amanda whispered, face going pale. You said he'd recover. You said. I said what you needed to hear to keep you motivated, Kyle snapped. He had to die, Amanda. That was always the plan. Now stop being weak and help me finish this. Amanda's hands started shaking. I didn't want him to actually die. I thought we'd just make it look like an attempt, enough to frame her and get the insurance payout. But he'd recover and we'd be gone by then, and you thought wrong. This is how it works. No witnesses. Clean elimination. I've done this 4 times successfully. The women who helped me understood the assignment. If you can't handle it, you're a liability. The way he said liability made Amanda step back from him. In that moment, I saw my daughter realize she wasn't Kyle's partner. She was another victim, another tool to be discarded. Kyle, she said slowly, what happened to the other women, the ones who helped you before? He didn't answer, just smiled. Amanda's face drained of all color. Oh my God, you killed them too, after you got the money. You killed them and kept everything. Simple math, baby. Why split $2 million when I can keep it all? Plus, eliminating the accomplice means no loose ends. No one to rat me out if they get scared or guilty. You were always going to die after this, Amanda. You just didn't know when. I saw her calculation, the betrayal hitting her as hard as it had hit me. She'd destroyed her life for a man who was planning to murder her. Martha suddenly spoke up, her voice steadier now. I already called the FBI. Before we left my house, I used my landline, gave them everything from the USB drive. Everyone froze. Kyle recovered first. No, you didn't. We jammed all cell signals in this wing. No calls in or out. Martha smiled grimly. Before we left my house. Used my landline. Digital files sent to Agent Rodriguez at the field office downtown. He's probably reviewing them right now. Kyle's confidence wavered. He pulled out his phone. No signal. But that didn't mean anything about calls made before they arrived. You're bluffing. Am I? How long do you want to wait here to find out? Amanda moved toward the door. We need to leave. Now. Not without tying up loose ends, Kyle said. But he was nervous now, uncertain. He moved toward Martha with the syringe. I stepped between them. You'll have to go through me first. Gladly. He grabbed my arm, twisted it behind my back. Pain shot through my shoulder. At 68, I was no match for his strength. The needle approached my neck. No, Amanda lunged, grabbed his arm. Kyle, stop, please. This is insane. They're right. We need to run. He shoved her away. She fell hard, hit her head on the bed frame. Then the door burst open. Hospital security. 2 large men who took in the scene in seconds. What's going on here? Why is this wing locked down? Kyle made a split-second decision. He grabbed me, arm around my throat, syringe at my neck. Everyone stay back or she dies. The security guards froze. We're leaving, Kyle said. Amanda, get up. We're taking Letitia with us. Amanda rose slowly, hand to her bleeding forehead. She looked at me, at Kyle, at the security guards. Amanda, come on. Now. She picked up her purse, walked toward Kyle. Then, in a movement so fast I barely saw it, she pulled something from her purse and pointed it at him. A gun. Small, silver, shaking in her hands. Let her go, Kyle. Are you serious right now? I'm not going to prison, and I'm not dying for you. Let my mother go. Put the gun down, Amanda. No. The security guards were radioing for help. Voices in the hallway. Footsteps running. We can still get out of this, Kyle said. But only if we move now. Put the gun away. We take Letitia as insurance. Cross the border. I have a boat waiting in San Diego, Mexico by tonight. We can disappear. Live on a beach. Have everything we wanted. You were going to kill me. I said that to scare you into action. I love you, baby. We're partners. I would never hurt you. You're lying. I'm not. I swear. Look at me. You know me. We've been planning this for months. Don't throw it all away now. Not when we're so close. The gun wavered. Amanda's face crumpled with confusion and fear. Police burst into the room. Real police, not Officer Brennan. They saw the gun, the standoff, took positions, dropped the weapon. Everything happened at once. Amanda turned toward the police, still holding the gun. Kyle used the distraction to drag me toward a side door I hadn't noticed. Emergency exit. The security guards moved to intercept. Martha screamed my name. A gunshot cracked through the air. I don't know who fired, or if it was accidental discharge. But in the chaos, Kyle shoved me away and ran through the emergency exit. Amanda stood frozen, gun at her feet where she'd dropped it, hands in the air, crying. 2 officers went after Kyle. 3 more surrounded Amanda. 1 helped me to my feet, checked if I was hurt. Martha rushed to me, and we held each other, both shaking. "It's okay," the officer said. "You're safe now. We've got them." But even as he said it, I heard shouts from the stairwell, Kyle getting away, and Amanda, my daughter, being handcuffed and read her rights while she sobbed. Nothing about this was okay. They took our statements in separate rooms. I told them everything. Martha corroborated. They found the USB drive, collected it as evidence. An FBI agent arrived, showed his badge. Agent Rodriguez. The man Martha had actually called. "Mrs. Winters, your friend is a hero. The information she sent us this morning cracked open a case we've been building for 2 years. Kyle Brennan is wanted in connection with 4 suspicious deaths across 3 states. Officer Brennan is being arrested as we speak. Several other conspirators are in custody. You and Martha just helped bring down an entire network." "My daughter," I whispered. "What happens to her?" His face softened. "That's complicated. She's going to be charged. Attempted murder, conspiracy, fraud. But she's also a victim of Kyle's manipulation. The DA will consider that. I can't make promises, but cooperation helps." They took Amanda to county jail. I wanted to see her, but they said no visitors for 24 hours. Martha took me back to her house. I couldn't face my own, not with its ransacked rooms and broken pictures. I didn't sleep. Just sat in Martha's guest room, staring at nothing. Around 3 in the morning, Martha brought me tea, sat on the bed beside me. "You did the right thing," she said quietly. "Did I?" "My daughter's in jail. Derek's dead. Everything's destroyed. You're alive, and you stopped them from killing anyone else. Those other targets Kyle had, those other women he was manipulating, they're safe now because of you. I should have seen the signs. Years ago, with Amanda, I should have known something was wrong." "How? You're her mother, not psychic. We never see the worst in the people we love until it's too late." The next days blurred together. Police interviews, FBI briefings, lawyers. Amanda refused to see me. Derek's brother Travis called, apologized stiffly for believing Amanda's lies. Derek's funeral was small, quiet. I attended despite everything, sitting in back, crying for the sweet young man who'd loved my daughter until it killed him. Kyle remained at large for 6 days. Then they caught him trying to board a private plane to Costa Rica using a fake passport. He was charged with 4 counts of murder, attempted murder, fraud, conspiracy. Officer Brennan rolled on him immediately, gave testimony detailing years of corruption and cover-ups in exchange for a reduced sentence. 2 weeks after that terrible Sunday, I finally got to see Amanda, county jail visiting room, glass partition between us, phones to talk through. She looked smaller somehow, younger, the hard edge gone, leaving just a frightened girl. "I'm sorry, Mom." I couldn't speak, just nodded. "I know that's not enough. I know sorry doesn't fix anything. But I need you to know, I never wanted you to actually die. I just wanted." She broke down crying. "I don't even know what I wanted anymore. Freedom? Money?" Kyle made it all sound so easy, and I was so angry at you for things I can't even remember now. Dad leaving, not getting into my first choice college, you commenting on my boyfriends, stupid things, normal parent things. But he twisted it all, made it seem like you'd ruined my life. Why didn't you just talk to me? If you were that unhappy? I tried once. Remember junior year of college? I told you I was thinking of taking a year off, traveling. You said it was irresponsible, that I'd lose momentum, never finish my degree. So I stayed, and I resented you for it. Even though you were right, even though it was good advice, I resented you for being right when I wanted you to say yes to something crazy. I was trying to protect you. I know that now. But back then, Kyle was saying all the things I wanted to hear. That I deserved adventure, that I was special, that rules were for ordinary people, and we were extraordinary. He love-bombed me, that's what the therapist here says. Made me dependent on his approval. And by the time I realized what he really was, I was in too deep. You could have walked away. Could I? He had recordings of me talking about the plan, photos of me researching poisons. He said if I backed out, he'd turn me in, make it look like I was the mastermind, and he was just following orders. I was trapped. So you went along with trying to kill your husband and frame your mother? She flinched. When you say it like that, how else should I say it, Amanda? We sat in silence. Other visitors chatted with their inmates. A baby cried somewhere. The guard at the door looked bored. There's something else, Amanda said finally. Something you need to know. She pulled an envelope from her orange jumpsuit, held it up to the glass. Through the barrier, I could just make out my name in her handwriting. I wrote this 3 weeks ago, before any of this happened. Can you get the guard to give it to you? I signaled the guard. He checked the envelope, passed it through the slot. I opened it with shaking hands. The letter was dated 3 weeks prior. Amanda's familiar handwriting, the loopy letters she'd had since middle school. Dear Mom, I'm writing this because I need to tell you something, and I don't have the courage to say it to your face. I'm pregnant, 8 weeks. Derek doesn't know yet. I just found out yesterday. I'm terrified, not of being a mother, but of being the kind of mother I've been a daughter. Distant, resentful, angry for reasons I can't explain. I don't want to raise a child the way I've treated you. I've been seeing someone behind Derek's back. His name is Kyle. We dated in college. He's back in my life, and he's been telling me things that make sense in the moment but feel wrong later. I think I need to end things with him. I think I need to talk to Derek, be honest, start fresh. But I'm scared. Of your judgment. Of Derek's hurt. Of losing everything I've built. I know we haven't been close lately. That's my fault, not yours. I've blamed you for things that weren't your fault because it was easier than looking at my own choices. You were a good mother. Maybe too protective, but that came from love. I see that now. I want you to be part of this baby's life. I want my child to know their grandmother, the real you, not the monster I've made you into in my head. I'm going to fix things. I'm going to leave Kyle, tell Derek the truth, and start being the person I want my child to see me as. I love you, Mom. I've always loved you. I just forgot how to show it. Your daughter, Amanda. My hands shook so badly the letter fluttered to the floor. The guard picked it up, handed it back. Through the glass, Amanda watched me with tears streaming down her face. I never sent it, she said. Kyle found it. He convinced me I was being weak, that you'd try to control my baby the way you controlled me, that Derek would leave me if he knew about the pregnancy and the affair. He twisted everything around until I couldn't remember what I'd really felt when I wrote it. And then everything spiraled so fast. You're still pregnant? She nodded. 5 months now. They'll let me have the baby here. Then, she didn't finish. Then what? Then the baby goes into foster care. Unless... She looked at me with something like hope. Unless you want her. Unless you could love her even though her mother tried to kill you. A girl. A granddaughter. Conceived in betrayal but innocent of all these sins. I need time to think, I said. I understand. I have time. More time than I ever wanted. My lawyer says I'm looking at 8 to 20 years depending on the plea deal. I'll be 48 when I get out, if I get out. My baby will be grown. She won't know me. She'll know you're her mother. Will she? Or will she know I'm the woman who tried to murder her father and grandmother for insurance money? That's a hell of an origin story. The visiting time ended. Guards came to take Amanda back to her cell. She pressed her hand against the glass. After a long moment, I pressed mine against the other side. We couldn't touch, but the gesture was there. As they led her away, she called back, "Name her Hope if you take her. Please." That's what I wanted to call her anyway. I drove back to Martha's in a daze. She took one look at my face and made me lie down. But I couldn't sleep. Just kept reading that letter over and over. The daughter who wrote those words was someone I recognized, someone I'd loved and raised. The daughter who'd tried to poison her husband and frame me was someone else entirely. Could both be true? Could people be that fragmented? My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Unknown number. My heart seized. Not again. Not more threats. But the text said, "This is Travis, Derek's brother. I know it's late, but I needed to tell you. They caught everyone. All of Kyle's network. 5 women he was manipulating, all arrested before anyone else got hurt. 4 men who were being targeted are safe. Derek's death wasn't meaningless. He helped expose everything. I thought you should know." I replied, "Thank you. That helps more than you know." Another text. For what it's worth, Derek knew Amanda was pregnant. He found out a week before the poisoning. He thought it was his. He was planning to surprise her with a nursery. I saw the paint samples and crib catalogs in his apartment after he died. He wanted that baby. Wanted to be a father. None of this is the baby's fault. I cried then. For Derek, who'd never meet his daughter. For Amanda, who'd destroyed everything for nothing. For the innocent child who'd be born into this wreckage. And for myself, who'd have to decide whether I had the strength to raise another child at my age, knowing whose daughter she was, knowing what her mother had done. The next months passed in a series of legal proceedings and difficult decisions. Kyle went to trial first, convicted on all counts. 4 murders, 1 attempted murder, conspiracy, fraud. Life without parole. Officer Brennan took a plea deal, 15 years. The other network members received various sentences. Amanda's trial was scheduled for 3 months out. Her lawyer worked on a plea deal. She'd cooperate fully, testify against Kyle, plead guilty to reduced charges. Attempted murder reduced to assault because Derek had survived the initial poisoning, they argued. He died from complications later, but the initial dose wasn't immediately fatal. It was a legal distinction that felt hollow but might mean the difference between 20 years and 8. I visited Amanda twice a week, watched her belly grow, talked about ordinary things, books she was reading, parenting classes offered in jail, dreams for her daughter's future. She never asked again if I'd take the baby. The question hung between us, unspoken. 2 months before her trial, Derek's brother Travis came to see me. We met at a coffee shop, awkward and stilted at first. He was 26, recently married, working as an engineer. Derek's death had hit him hard. "I've been thinking about the baby," he said. "My wife and we could take her, raise her as Derek's daughter, give her our name." "That's generous. But I talked to my wife, and we agreed we should ask you first. You're the grandmother. You have more claim than we do. And honestly," he looked uncomfortable, "I don't know if I could look at that baby and not see what Amanda did to my brother. That's not the baby's fault, but I'm not sure I'm a good enough person to separate the two." "At least you're honest. What will you do?" I'd been asking myself that question for weeks. I was 68 years old. Raising a baby meant another 18 years minimum. I'd be 86 when she graduated high school. I might not live that long. Was it fair to the child to take her knowing I might die when she still needed me? But then I thought about Amanda's letter, about second chances, about cycles that could be broken. "I'm going to take her," I heard myself say. "If Amanda agrees, if social services approves, I'm going to raise her." Travis nodded slowly. "Derek would have liked that. He loved your stories about Amanda as a kid. Before everything got complicated, he said you were a good mom who got a raw deal. Thank you for telling me that." He left. I sat in the coffee shop, drinking cold coffee, committed now to a decision that terrified me. Amanda gave birth on a Wednesday in March. They took her to the hospital in restraints, let her have the baby with a guard outside the door. I was there. They let me be there. Hope came into the world screaming, red-faced and angry. Perfect. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Dark hair like Derek's. Amanda's blue eyes already evident even in those first moments. Amanda held her for 2 hours, fed her, sang to her, memorized her face. Then the social worker came. Time was up. They had to take the baby. "Mom," Amanda said, still holding Hope. "Will you, please? I need to know she's with someone who'll love her. Someone who'll tell her the truth, but also tell her I loved her. That I wanted better for her than I gave her. I will. Even after everything I did? You're my daughter. She's my granddaughter. This is what family means. We show up, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard." They transferred custody to me temporarily, pending background checks and home studies. I brought Hope home to Martha's house, since mine was still being repaired. Martha, bless her, transformed the guest room into a nursery, found a crib, a changing table, tiny clothes. "I'm 71, Martha said. "Too old to raise a baby myself, but I can help you. We'll do this together." "You don't have to." "I know, but you didn't have to save my life either, and you did. This is what friends do." The social worker came, inspected everything, interviewed me extensively, asked hard questions. Could I physically handle a baby at my age? What was my financial situation? How would I explain Amanda to Hope when she was old enough to ask? I answered honestly. Yes, I was old, but healthy. I had a small pension. Derek's life insurance payout had gone to his family, but they'd agreed to set up a trust for Hope. And I'd tell Hope the truth, age appropriately, but always emphasizing her mother's love. They approved me. 6 weeks after Hope's birth, I became her legal guardian with intention to adopt once Amanda's trial concluded. Amanda's trial happened when Hope was 4 months old. I sat in the courtroom, Hope sleeping against my shoulder. Amanda pleaded guilty. The judge listened to testimony. Psychologists talking about manipulation and coercive control. Character witnesses saying Amanda had been a good person before Kyle. Derek's family asking for justice but not vengeance. Then the judge spoke. "Miss Winters, you participated in a scheme that resulted in your husband's death and nearly killed your own mother. However, the evidence shows you were also a victim of Mr. Brennan's sophisticated manipulation. You cooperated fully with authorities, helping to dismantle an entire criminal network and saving lives. Taking all factors into consideration, I sentence you to 8 years in the state correctional facility, with possibility of parole in 5 years for good behavior. 8 years. Amanda would be 37 when she got out. Hope would be 8, elementary school, old enough to know her mother but young enough to rebuild a relationship. After sentencing, they let me bring Hope to Amanda. 5 minutes, supervised. Amanda held her daughter, cried silently. Hope, now old enough to focus, looked at her mother with curious eyes. "Be good for Grandma," Amanda whispered. "I love you, always, even when you don't understand why I'm not there." Then they took her away. That was 6 months ago. Hope is 10 months old now. She's crawling, getting into everything, learning to pull herself up on furniture. She has Derek's smile and Amanda's stubborn determination. She loves books and music and the cats at Martha's house. I visit Amanda once a month, bring photos and videos. Amanda's doing well in prison. She leads a parenting support group for incarcerated mothers, working on her bachelor's degree through a prison education program, seeing a therapist twice a week, reading every child development book she can find. Our conversations are different now, more honest. We talk about her childhood, my mistakes, and hers. About forgiveness, which is a process, not a destination. About how we both contributed to the distance that grew between us. How Kyle exploited that distance but didn't create it. "I'm learning that I have to take responsibility for my choices," she told me last visit. "Not blame others. Not blame you. Kyle manipulated me, yes, but I made the choice to listen. I made the choice to keep listening, even when doubts crept in. That's on me. And I'm learning I was too controlling sometimes," I admitted. "Too focused on protecting you from making mistakes instead of letting you make them and learn. We both have work to do. Do you think Hope will forgive me someday? I think if you keep doing the work, keep growing, and show up for her when you get out, she'll know you tried. That's all any of us can do. Derek's parents visit sometimes. They bring gifts for Hope, stay for an hour, leave quietly. It's awkward, but getting easier. Derek's brother Travis and his wife had a baby boy last month. They came by to meet Hope. The cousins, born from tragedy, innocently playing while we adults processed complicated grief. Martha helps me every day. She's the grandmother Hope needs when I'm too tired or overwhelmed. We've become a family of sorts, cobbled together from broken pieces but strong enough. My house is finally repaired. I'm moving back next week, bringing Hope with me, starting fresh. The walls have been repainted, new floors installed, every trace of that terrible day erased. But the memories remain. I think they always will. I've learned things these past months. Hard, painful things. I've learned that love isn't always enough. That we can love people who hurt us, and that doesn't make us weak or stupid. I've learned that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or excusing. It means choosing not to let the past poison the present. I've learned that maternal love is complicated. It doesn't disappear when your child does something unforgivable. It transforms, becomes something that holds accountability and compassion in the same breath. I've learned that second chances exist, but they must be earned. Amanda's earning hers, slowly, through counseling and education and facing what she did. I'm earning mine too, learning to be a better grandmother than I sometimes was a mother. Most importantly, I've learned that breaking cycles takes conscious effort. The dysfunction in my relationship with Amanda started small. Little resentments, unspoken hurts, criticism, dressed as concern. Kyle exploited those cracks, but we created them. Hope deserves better. She deserves honesty, healthy boundaries, love without control. Every night, I rock Hope to sleep and tell her stories. Sometimes about her parents, the good parts, Derek's kindness, Amanda's humor, before everything went wrong. Sometimes about my own life, the lessons I've learned. She's too young to understand the words, but I believe she hears the love behind them. Hope will grow up knowing her story. Not the sanitized version, but the truth, shared age appropriately. She'll know her father died tragically. She'll know her mother made terrible choices, but is working to be better. She'll know that people are complicated, that mistakes don't define us, that redemption is possible. And she'll know she's loved. Fiercely, unconditionally, by a grandmother who's too old for this but doing it anyway, by a found family of friends who showed up when it mattered, and by a mother in prison who's fighting every day to become worthy of her daughter's eventual forgiveness. They say blood is thicker than water, but I've learned the full quote is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. The family we choose, the bonds we forge through shared struggle, those are often stronger than biology alone. Kyle tried to destroy my family. In some ways, he succeeded. But in other ways, he failed completely. Because here I am, raising my granddaughter with my best friend's help, visiting my daughter who's genuinely changing, and finding purpose in these broken pieces. I'm 68 years old. I thought my child-rearing days were over. I thought I'd spend my golden years traveling, reading, gardening. Instead, I'm changing diapers and singing lullabies and worrying about teething and sleep schedules. And you know what? I wouldn't change it. Hope is my second chance. A chance to do it right this time. To love without controlling. To guide without smothering. To be present without being overwhelming. To show her that mistakes, even terrible ones, don't have to be the end of the story. Amanda will be released when Hope is 8 years old, if she earns parole. We're already talking about it, planning for it. How to reintroduce them, how to rebuild their relationship, how to set boundaries that protect Hope while giving Amanda opportunities to be a mother. It won't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. Last week, Hope said her first word. Mama. She was looking right at me when she said it. My heart broke and healed simultaneously. I am her mama now, for better or worse. And someday, when she's older, she'll have two. One who raised her, one who gave birth to her. Both imperfect, both trying. That hot chocolate Amanda handed me that Sunday morning was meant to kill me. Instead, it saved me. Saved all of us, really. If Derek had died and I'd been framed successfully, Amanda would be living a lie. Kyle would have killed her eventually. More innocent people would have died. Sometimes poison shows us the cure. I look at Hope, playing with her blocks on Martha's living room floor. She's stacking them carefully, concentration on her tiny face. When they fall, she claps and laughs and starts over. No frustration. No giving up. Just pure joy in the trying. That's what I want to teach her. That we fall. We make mistakes. We hurt people and get hurt. But we can always start over. We can always stack the blocks again. And sometimes, the tower we build the second time is stronger because we learned from the collapse. So to anyone out there struggling with family betrayal, with loving someone who hurt you, with trying to break generational cycles, or raise children you thought you were too old to raise, you're not alone. It's hard. Some days feel impossible. But you're stronger than you think, and second chances, real ones, exist. Not the fairy tale kind where everything's perfect, but the real, messy, complicated kind where you show up every day and do the work and hope it's enough. I have a question for you. Have you ever had to forgive someone who betrayed you deeply? How did you find the strength to keep loving them while still holding them accountable? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might help someone else who's struggling with the same impossible choice. If this story touched you, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. It helps others find these stories. And if you want to hear more about finding hope in difficult circumstances, please subscribe to the channel. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. We all need reminders that we're not alone in our struggles. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for letting me share the hardest chapters of my life. I hope you found something useful in my experience, some piece of wisdom or comfort. May you find the courage to break the cycles that need breaking, the strength to love through the hard times, and the grace to forgive yourself when you fall short, because we all fall short. The trick is getting back up. Take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, even the darkest stories can have chapters of light if we're brave enough to write them.